Alright, so coming into the second trio, we have the second solo array, which we're going to handle however we're handling. I'm not sure what we're doing yet. And then we get the cast of Run Dynamis Sigma version. As this cast is happening, we're going to line up the exact same way we do in P2, and we're going to use the exact same priority to determine if we're in the left group or the right group to keep things nice and consistent. Note that the footage on screen for the lineup differs to what I'm saying, so just refer to this image. It's exactly like P2. Once the PlayStation markers have gone out, the party will line up down south. South being by the two arms / opposite Omega M. The priority for the lineup, circle X, triangle, square. Again, same as P2. 6 players will then randomly get marked. Within the pairs of players, this effectively creates 2 different groups of pairs. You have pairs which have double markers and pairs which only have 1 marker. This gives us our priority for the next positioning. So how does the priority work? Well, starting from the top being north, remember Omega M is north in this mechanic. The top double pair will go north and south, the player on the left going north, the player on the east going south. The bottom double pair will go east and west, again, the left player going west and the right player going east. The pairs with a single marker starting from the top will resolve the arm on the west side of the map / the left. The player with a marker will go southwest and the player without a marker will go northeast. The single marker pair from the bottom will resolve the east fist / the right side. The player with a marker will go southeast and the player without a marker will go northwest. Now, something I failed to mention is that there can be a mid glitch or far glitch. If it's far glitch, just like the image, here, you just go all the way to the wall, nice and simple. If it's mid glitch, here's a toothless image as a proper reference on where to stand. Next, we have the towers, which is probably the hardest part of this phase. For the tower strategy, we're going to be using a modified Nukamari strat as provided by Toothless. The first step of the strategy is to have the north and south players shift slightly to the west, and the east and west players to rotate clockwise onto an easternly position. Next, either 6 or 5 towers will spawn, depending on either mid or far glitch, with one half of the map in both configurations having 4 towers on that half of the map. This is important for establishing who goes to which tower. So we'll go over every possible tower iteration. For this first iteration, it's going to be mid glitch with the 4 towers bunched up north. The players who were north and south are responsible for the west side towers, and the players who were east and west are responsible for the east side towers. In mid glitch, you always grab the most western and most eastern tower in the group of 4 towers. The 2 players on the half of the map that only has 2 towers, you simply take the tower on your half of the map. Next, we have the 4 players who are on the intercardinals. You have the easiest job here. You simply move towards the bundle of 4 towers and take the tower nearest to your north / south. So if you were a north intercardinal, you take the northmost tower, and if you were a south intercardinal, you take the southmost tower. And this is what your final result will look like. It is possible for the bundle of 4 towers to have spawned south instead of north. It is exactly the same process and the same priorities. Then we have the far configuration towers, which are slightly more complicated for the players who are on cardinals, but it's not too bad. So if you're one of the cardinal players, if you're on the half of the map that has 4 towers, instead of taking the most eastern / western tower, you take the next one over. Another way to potentially phrase that is that you take the far eastern / western tower. The cardinal players on the half of the map with only 1 tower, real simple, you stand in that 1 tower. Then we have the intercardinal players who take the exact same towers in terms of priority that they did in mid glitch. The 2 northern players take the 2 north towers in the set of 4, and the 2 south players take the 2 south towers in the set of 4. And that's it. Once again, the bundle of 4 towers can appear either north or south. For the example this time around, I use south. Here's what the north one looks like. Now we have the final part of Sigma. There's 2 ways I'm going to show we can find our final positions. One of these ways we can actively practice in the sim, and the other way I would like to propose that we go for once we're in game, since it's not something we can do in this sim, unfortunately. Next, Omega F will spawn, and now we need to split the party into 2 groups of 4. The Hello Distant World and the Hello Near player will both be separate from each other, with Distant being up north, and 3 players who have a Dynamis stack will be up north as well with them. Everyone else is down south. Now, to borrow from Toothless, once the players have split into 2 groups, the near/far player will stand closer towards the middle, and everyone else will stand at the edge of the map in a line. This will effectively mark you, telling you where you need to go for your final position. Note though, I'm saying effectively, not literally. More on that later. Do note as well, the 2 players who I'm giving the chain marker in these example images have to have a stack of Dynamis. Now we look towards Omega F to see how long we need to wait before we move. If Omega F has sword legs, we basically move straight away. And if she has a staff, we wait a really long time. Then as soon as we're able, we move into our final positions, which based on the hypothetical markers, everyone would go here. Now to talk about my favorite part of the Aether Group 3 strategy. When the Hello Near/Far debuffs go out /PlayStation, you can have one player mark every single player, determining their positions in the final spread at the very start of the mechanic. The reason why I bring this up now instead of earlier is that this isn't something you can practice in the sim, unfortunately, as you lack the ability to mark people. I would also like to propose that for our group, I'm the one who marks players. Anyway, to talk about the logic for how people get marked, it's actually really quite simple. The first 2 players on the markers party list who have a Dynamis stack, they will get marked with a chain. Everyone else gets marked 1 through 4 unless they have near/far. And that's it. I'm never making a video guide again. This took way too much effort. L.